1. This happened back in November, and I'm just deciding to share now. I was given a delivery to take to a government building, so I walk into the building into this lobby, where there's a cop and a security guard on either side sitting behind desks. I walk up to the security guard saying I have a delivery for someone in the building. I hand him the ticket, and he calls the phone number telling her to come downstairs. The woman comes down and takes her food and pays, and then goes back upstairs. Alright, so far everything's normal. I get back out to my car and I'm about to leave when my boss calls me. He asks if the delivery I just took had an order of mozzarella sticks with it. I tell him yes. He sounds urgent, like he has a good reason to be on edge. He tells me I'm to go back and get the mozzarella sticks from the woman and give her a refund because we messed up her order. So I go back inside to the security guard and tell him I have to get the mozzarella sticks from her and give her a refund. He calls the number again and tells her. Now this is where things start getting confusing. The woman, who I'm guessing is confused, tells the guard that she ordered mozzarella sticks, she wants them, and doesn't want a refund. The guard hangs up, I call up my boss and put him on speakerphone so the security guard and the cop can hear what's going on. I tell him that the woman is confused, she ordered mozzarella sticks and doesn't seem to want to give them back. Now he's asking me if she's eating them. I say something like, yeah, I assume she's eating the mozzarella sticks she ordered. But he insists I be clearer.
Okay, so you're saying that you can see her right now and she's eating them?
I'm thinking to myself, oh bitch, she took the food upstairs and I can only assume she's eating her damn food. That's basically what I said to him, except without cursing him out. My boss asks me if I'm with her right now, which is a stupid question, because I just told him she took the food and went upstairs and isn't going to come back down. He tells me,
okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to take the mozzarella sticks from her, give her a refund. Do not come back to this store without the mozzarella sticks or I'm sending you home.
Now the cop who I'm standing in front of is pissed. He comes to my defense, full on yelling into the phone at my boss, telling him everything that I was trying to tell him. The woman's not coming down because she wants the food she ordered and she doesn't want a refund. He demands to know why my boss is making me get the sticks from the woman. Now my boss finally opens up, and he's a lot more respectful in his tone now. The woman called up the store complaining about her mozzarella sticks, and he agreed to take them back and give her a refund. The cop tells him,
well, she doesn't want to give them back now, so, oh well.
My boss finally gives up and tells me to just come back to the store. After I hang up, the cop is yelling, not at me, but to me. He's basically saying,
what does your boss think he is threatening you like that? What are you, a little kid?
I get back to the store. He calls me into his office and just wants to know what the F just happened. Now he's explaining his side of the story. The woman called the store complaining that there was a cockroach in her mozzarella sticks. My boss responds to this by telling her that he can either make her a new order or give her a refund. But either way, he has to get back the order of mozzarella sticks. This is in case she's a grifter who is trying to get an extra order for free, but she's not. She apparently wanted to give back the mozzarella sticks and just get a refund. So he tells me this, and I tell him, damn boss, well, she didn't want to give them back when I went to get them. He understands now, and we both agree she was probably just trying to get free food. As it turns out, the woman at the government building I delivered to wasn't the woman who called to complain. It was a girl my age at a different address who called complaining. My boss sends me to this other girl's apartment, and she gives me the mozzarella sticks. I give her the refund and ask, is the thing still in there? She seems visibly frustrated and says yeah, so I apologize and go back to the store. Now back at the store, I bring the sticks to the back, and me and my boss open up the box. We didn't find any cockroach. What we did find was a piece of fresh basil in the container of sauce. This girl saw a little burnt chopped up piece of fresh basil in her sauce and thought it was a cockroach. This caused my boss to panic because the thought of a cockroach getting into a customer's food will scare any good business owner. He then tried to find the ticket with the address of the girl who called, but accidentally found a different order that also had mozzarella sticks. He then tried to make me take back the mozzarella sticks from the wrong woman, and wasn't listening to me when I said the woman was confused as to why we wanted her mozzarella sticks back. 2. I know getting the sex for pizza offer is everyone's greatest dream when they enter the profession. And you know what? Mine too, but not anymore. I was working in the morning, 11 to 4, and this was my second to last delivery of the shift. You need to understand something. We have a bunch of high school drivers who don't really want to be working. They don't get out of their cars and just park in front of the house and honk. When the customer doesn't come out, they just leave. So the boss instituted a new rule that if you don't make a reasonable attempt to deliver the pizza, you're paying for it. Besides that, this is usually a chill place to work for, and the only place within our zone that hasn't been gentrified or bought out by the university yet is this sketchy pay-by-hour motel. That's where my second to last delivery was to. Because most of our drivers are minors and women, I usually get the deliveries out there. But it's no big deal because it's mostly stoned college kids and couples who order pizza down there. Plus this particular order was for 15 pizzas, so I was anticipating a big tip. This time though, I knew something wasn't right when I pulled up. The door was cracked open and there were a lot of crushed out cigarettes and trash bits by the door, even for this place. I just got that don't go into the basement sense. As I approached the door, I could see a few needles and some broken glass and what looked to be human waste on the floor. Guard immediately went up. I knocked and announced myself, and an intoxicated voice says something I can't make out, so I just repeat, "Please come to the door and collect your order." Then I hear it. I'm fucking, are you deaf?" I figured I must have misheard, and no way was I about to eat the tab for 15 pizzas, so I had to be able to say with certainty I did everything I could to try and deliver. So I'm standing there hearing creaking and moaning and worrying I did not mishear. I'm waiting for him to show with the money, and he says, "You coming or what?" I didn't think he was talking to me, so I just stood there. "Come in here." Nah. "I'm good right out here, where there are witnesses." I said, "Can't do that, bud. Can you hand me the money out here, please?" Unintelligible rambling. I figure I'll stand there 3 more minutes, and if he hasn't surfaced, I terminate the order. Just as I'm about to turn and go, a guy flings the door open and he's bare-ass naked. He's an older guy, or maybe he's just drug-addled, maybe both. But I've seen worse delivering, so I just keep my eyes above the equator and, from a healthy distance, request payment first. He says, "Oh, don't got any." All right, got my valid excuse not to deliver the pizzas, ready to nope out. So as I'm backing away, he goes, wait, twitching and smacking the side of his head. Thankfully, at this point, he wrapped a sweatshirt around his waist. Then he goes in a drawer and hands me a fucking Rolex. I'm 95% sure it's fake, because it came from a drawer of like 10 of them. But it looked cool as shit, very convincing. So I figured I'm holding in my hands the best Father's Day present I'll ever give. Let me just try and convince my boss they refuse to pay. If he drives over, he'll see the place as a complete shitshow of danger. But it doesn't end there. The guy says, "You, put them down." I thought maybe he was hallucinating, but I realized he meant bring the pizzas inside because he kept gesturing to the countertop. I figure I could practically reach it from through the door, and it was technically my job. So I started loading them in. That's when it happened. A woman came out of the bathroom, naked but for a crop top, and walked straight up to me. The stench, people. It hit me like a wall. It was like curdled milk and pool cleaner. It was pretty dark in the room, but I think on top of her own odor, she had some dried feces mashed into her pubes. I almost vomited. It was so immediate and strong. I pick up all the remaining pizzas at once, put them down, and they're whispering. Whispering meth heads is never good. Time to go. Shouldn't have stayed this long. As I'm setting down the pizzas, dude says, "Give the wash back. You can fuck her. You can go ahead. Go ahead. We was fucking. She's warmed up. Go ahead. I was so dumbstruck at how nauseating this all was, I froze up for a second. Then she put her hand on my shoulder, and I leapt up and got out of there as fast as I've ever gone anywhere in my life. Of course, no one believed me when I got back to the shop and said the customer offered to let me fuck his girlfriend for payment. My boss was like, "If you didn't feel safe delivering to the Matthews, just man up about it and don't make up a wild fantasy." But no matter how graphic I got, they did not grasp that there was nothing fantastical about it. So I've shared here now, and we all know the real story is not the blonde bikini model dream my coworkers are picturing. 3. This happened a while back, but got brought to mind recently. This is easily the rudest customer I've had, beating out all of the complainers and screamers and credit redeemers. First, some background. Our delivery area is in a suburb city south of a very large metropolitan area. And in that delivery area is the nicest part of town, several foothills with beautiful homes built on them, great schools, low crime, and high police presence, the 9 yards of rich town. In that nice part is a large country club, gated and walled with one entrance manned by armed guards around the clock, and access is strictly limited to people who have been approved by homeowners. Even with topper on and full uniform, our presence must be verified as authorized every single time via security calling the homeowner. This is standard for country clubs. It helps set the scene for this awful delivery. In the center of the country club is the peak of one of the foothills, crested with a half-dozen 10,000-plus square foot monuments of affluence, guarded by a second gate, yes, a gated community within a gated community, accessible only by a scanned pass that the guards must give you. Alright, on to the good stuff. I got an order for one of these ridiculous mansions one night during rush. It was a typical order, somewhere around $35. It went through the oven, I bagged it, I took it, I presented my photo ID at the gate, stated my intended business to the guards, and read off the address. And they set about calling her. She didn't seem much bothered to pick up the phone, as they came back out apologizing and asking me to pull aside. She didn't answer my calls either, and I was about to depart with the order when a guard knocked on my window to tell me that she had called back. He handed me a pass for the second gate and sent me on my way. A few minutes of driving later, I was at the second gate, scanning my pass to get through. I found her house immediately, located to the right of the gate. But unfortunately, with the way the gate opened, I couldn't park on the street without blocking the gate, so I did the unforgivable. Once or twice, I've heard we're not supposed to park in people's driveways. Most people don't mind, and I usually don't anyways, preferring to park in front of hydrants or even double park someone against the curb, only backing into driveways to unload large orders from my trunk. But this was a special case, and I didn't want to risk damage to my car, and the rest of the street was blocked by cars. I eased up my car onto her marble-tiled massive fuck-off of a driveway. It began with a straight run about the size of your average house lot, leading to a roundabout with about 10 cars in it, all of them by themselves at least 10 times the value of my car. I parked at the edge of the roundabout in a way so as not to block any other high rollers that may come along, and went to the door with haste. She opened it swiftly, with a small girl in tow, and I set about the transaction. Once I handed her the receipt, she took to scrutinizing it for an oddly long amount of time. At this point, the child held up a Play-Doh creation roughly shaped and colored like a pizza. "Look," she said excitedly, "I made a pizza too." It's the single most adorable interaction I've had with a child on a delivery, and I couldn't help but smile at the purity. The mother was not having it. She cut the child off with a look, pushed her back with one hand, and bent down slightly and sad, in a volume like she was pretending to whisper, but didn't feel like hiding her words, and a tone that very clearly highlighted the difference in our respective societal classes. "Don't talk to him." She spoke as if her child had made the mistake of speaking to the steerage class. The wording was precise. "Don't fraternize with the help, young lady." I was speechless. Her tone was very clear and very intentional. The sentiment summed up with the way she looked to me after saying it. It was then that she spotted my car, my hideous, disgustingly cheap 2012 Kia. A vehicle stained by having multiple owners in its life, transportation for the poor. And it was sitting in her driveway, on her immaculately kept marble decking. Her face betrayed her, a recoil of disgust connected to the sight of my lowly automobile on her property. Even if she was above commenting on it, she immediately returned her attention to the receipt, wrote a perfect 0 on the tip line, took the food, and shut the door in my face without another word. I never heard of her again, never saw her address in our orders. I've had many rude customers before and after, but none of them have come close to the second time one lady openly treated me as second class, out of principle. 4. Now, to be fair, this happened back in November, so I'm going off by memory here. I decided to write about this because a lady reminded me of the story, so here goes. How this story starts is we just hired a bunch of new guys to help out around the store, and we were short-staffed at the time, so it was a huge plus. It was me, a co-worker that I'm good friends with, and the aggressor. Now, at first I thought entitled worker was a nice guy. Had experience with Wendy's and Jamba Juice, and always wanted to do on the right. Boy, was I wrong. 'Cause that night, things got hairy, fast. When I started, there were like 2 pizzas ready to be made, so I told him I would take care of it. That was until customers were walking in, so me being on register, I decided to help them out while entitled worker worked on the food. Fast forward 15 minutes later and he says, "So when are you gonna start the pizzas you're gonna make?" "Come again?" I asked. "The pizza you said you were gonna take care of, you left them." "Well, I had customers to handle, man, sorry." "It's fine, man, I'm just pulling your chain," he said, trying to play it off as a joke. Keyword being try. Meanwhile, me and my coworker, the one I'm cool with, are concerned because we're both uncomfortable with his hospitality. We thought nothing of it at first. That was when entitled worker yelled to the back, "Hey, how about instead of hiding back, you come out and help like a decent human being?" Yes, he actually had the balls to say that with customers in the building. After we settled the customers, we decided to confront him about his behavior, saying that we didn't like how we were treated. He tried to defend himself and put the blame on us, saying, "Well, you guys are leaving things for me, when we're supposed to be a team." Entitled worker, just listen to us, please. "Oh, shut up and do what you gotta do, the adults are talking." FYI, I'm 18, and I have more experience than him, so hearing him say that almost made me go ham on his ass, 'cause A, I hate being treated like a little kid, and B, he called my coworker a horrible human like 10 minutes ago. "OP, just head to the back, I got this," coworker says to me calmly as she turned back to him, handling the situation. After a short screaming match, she leaves me, telling me that if he steps out of line, I can boot him. Why she left is because she didn't feel any safety there. Time moves on, it's a Friday, and likewise there's a dinner rush. And the whole time it's me and entitled worker working constantly, me on the register and phones, and him on food. Me sometimes saucing and cheesing the pizzas so entitled worker can make the food. And also throughout the night I try to tell him to move fast as he's prolonging his food making. And a part of his training is to move fast so that way customers can get out the door and head home. And almost 10 people were waiting impatiently for their food. Myself exhausting myself as I'm trying to deal with a grumpy man-child who's acting like he isn't getting any respect. And entitled worker. At one point, I'm telling him to move down, and he has the sheer audacity to lean in and say coldly, "If you fucking put your hand in front of me again, I will fucking break it on this fucking make line, you understand me?" Now, I would yell "excuse me" and get him kicked out, and that would be that. But there was too much to do, and I didn't even have the energy to give a smile to customers anymore, since I'm farting between the register, front and back constantly. Anyways, fast forward to the end of the rush, and I'm cleaning up the make line from the 2-hour mess that we made. With entitled worker walking in the lobby, I sigh. This is the following exchange. "So what?" "Don't talk to me." "No, what's up?" "Nothing's up, entitled worker, I just don't want to talk." "You're not being funny, OP. They have cameras everywhere, you know. They saw what you did." "And? You did plenty of shit tonight, too."
Oh, what exactly did I do?
First, you didn't listen to me and coworker when we tried to help you.
You guys aren't being fair. You keep leaving pizzas for me to finish. It's unfair. And worse, all of you keep prancing around doing nothing.
I was answering phones and taking orders.
And that makes it okay? Do you have any idea how ridiculous you were, pointing the finger at me in front of customers?
Side note, what he meant was I told him to wait a second as I was on the phone taking an order and couldn't talk. You're lucky I don't kick you out right now, and if it wasn't for me, you would be closing by yourself, which you don't know how to do.
We're supposed to be a team.
Oh yeah, like you threatening to break my fucking arms is a good thing.
No, you fucking raise your fucking voice at me.
You know, I should kick you out.
What? What did you say to me? Yeah, that's what I thought. This isn't a fucking reality show. I'm done babysitting your ass.
After all of that, I refuse to go back there, and during my downtime, I'm texting coworker everything that happened, as she was right about his hospitality. While yes, she left me with him, I can't fault her for this, as she was more of a victim in this than I was. After I told her about what happened, the lying, the eating out of inserts with his bare hands, and the scenes he made at a customer to the point where a lady broke us up like children, yes, this all happened, she said that her mother is calling the cops, as he technically is assaulting and abusing a coworker. So at this point my heart is pounding, as at this time my boss has come back around due to using the restroom on her way back from a party, with her 2-year-old kid in tow, and naturally entitled worker opens his mouth to try and make the odds in his favor.
So yeah, there was a bit of a scene and he was jumping off the boat, but yeah, we managed.
He lied. Well, to be fair, you aren't innocent in any of this.
Oh, in what way?
Entitled worker says, turning to me.
Well, for one, no one asked for your input, OP, but shut up!
No, alright, you need to learn that we were helping and not play the victim. We're trying to help.
She is a 2-year-old, calm down,
And then entitled worker runs at me.
If you don't shut up, I will for you. Do you have any idea what we do to people like you from my country?
Yeah, you slap them.
Good.
Entitled worker turns around and continues to talk to the boss, while I stay in the corner, my head in my neck as I keep sweeping up front. Soon a customer comes by, and my boss shoves us in the back as they didn't want to see us fighting.
Well, this is great. First coworker leaves for no reason, and now you caused a scene.
Yeah, like you threatening to break my hand was rational.
What are you even talking about?
Don't act like that. You know damn well what you did threatening to break my hand, all because I told you to move forward.
Okay, that's all bullshit. I didn't threaten you. That's all an act. You're playing actor.
Sure, like me pretending to have a nervous breakdown was an act. Okay, the manager says, customer is gone. Entitled worker, what happened tonight? Knowing I've been defeated, I decided to grab my broom and go up front. About 20 minutes later, my boss comes up, and before I continue on, she's not one of those bosses that just believes what the other says or vice versa. She wants to actually know what happened on both sides, and then decides what she wants to do. What happened tonight? She asks me. Why does it matter? You pretty much listened to entitled worker the whole time. I didn't get a say. Childish, I know, but I was threatened to be slapped and my hand broken off, so I wasn't having it. OP, it's my job as manager to believe all my staff, and it's pretty clear something happened with the both of you, so I want to hear your side. Also, if I didn't have my kid on my side, I would have shut him down when he ran at you, you know? I don't take BS, she says calmly. I then told her the cliff notes that happened through the night, and brought up how coworker left early, but didn't say why. As for I didn't want entitled worker to hear why or get further involved. Okay, well I believe you on all of that, you need to understand he's still new. He probably lost it because of the pressure. You do that too, my boss says. I understand that, but when I tried to help him he snapped at me and did things his way. And even still, when he did that, he blamed me for snapping at him and acted like I was insane, I say calmly. Well, for now, just avoid him and don't talk to him. Don't worry about mopping. Just sweep good and I'll take care of it in the morning. She leaves, still with her kid on her waist. And I thought it would be the end of it, but then the cops show up.
Hello?
Evening, officer.
How are things going tonight?
Good, it's almost closing. Is there a problem? We got a call saying that someone was threatened to have their hand broken off earlier. Is everything okay? Well... Then the manager, who's still there, says, "Officer?" I turned pale as I didn't expect her to notice what happened. Was it a customer complaint? We got a call of a threat. I'll take it from here. They go outside for what felt like ages. Then she poked her head in. Yeah, OP, just close up. Don't even go anywhere near him. You're not in trouble. Just relax and get out of here as fast as you can. After she left, I called my dad and told him to pick me up, and I will explain when he got me. The next day, I talked to both my bosses. We have an area manager that helps with all stores, and they said that entitled worker is off the schedule, and that I needed to fill out a police report, both me and coworker. And as for why my manager came back in when the officer showed up, she said she saw the car roll up from a Safeway parking lot while doing a grocery run, knowing that something was definitely up. After the evaluation of the reports, entitled worker was fired for an attempt at assault and bodily harm, and it turns out he was actually in and out of prison, and lost half of his jobs due to him being violent, was fired from Wendy's for fighting a customer by jumping over a counter, and fired from Jamba for other reasons. As for the now, I'm glad he's gone, because he was definitely insane, especially since he didn't take any form of help at all. As for him himself, I ran into him once, walking to the bus from class. He called me a pussy-ass bitch for getting him fired. It's not much of an issue now, but if I see him again, it'll be way too soon. 5. So I recently became a manager at the store I work at, and I now close Fridays and Sundays. Ever since things started shutting down, we've been getting a lot busier, and that, mixed with the popularity of our rectangular dough right now, means that sometimes we run out of dough. Last night, we ran out of large pans and rectangular dough during the rush. We emergency-proofed more rectangles, but not more large pans. Around 9 p.m., a lady puts in an order for a large pan, a P-zone, and a large thin. I tried calling twice to inform her about the lack of dough, but she didn't answer. The next step in our policy is to void the order if we can't make part of it, and the customer doesn't answer when we call, so I voided her order and went about doing closing duties. Within the last hour, we got like 4 or 5 more deliveries, yay, so I made them and sent my driver out. About 10 minutes till close, I hear the phone ring. I decided to let it ring through and let our CSC take the order. The phone rings through, and after about a minute starts ringing again. In my head, I'm thinking, fuck lady, just put your order in with CSC. My phone stops ringing for 6 or 7 minutes now. It's like 1 minute till close. So I answer the phone. Thank you for calling. I'm sorry, but we are now closed.
Well, that's gonna be a problem because I ordered a pizza, 3, incorrect, hours ago, and it never showed up. And I talked to some customer service person, and she said my order was voided because y'all were out of something.
Immediately, she has a rude tone. I ask for her name, and then inform her that we tried to reach her twice, and the next step we take is voiding the order if we can't talk to the customer. She cuts me off.
So you're just gonna cancel a whole order over one pizza?
I think to myself, yes, because if I just gave you your food without the one pizza, you'd still be pissed at me. Then she says,
here's what you're gonna do.
Strike 1.
You're gonna deliver my pizza.
No, ma'am, we won't be sending out a pizza tonight.
Yes, you will.
No, ma'am, that won't be happening.
I paid for a pizza, so you're sending it out.
Your order was void, and the money refunded, so no, ma'am, we will not be sending out a pizza. I should mention that this is the first time as a manager that I've had to tell a customer no and have them get angry. I know it comes with a food service job, but as a people pleaser, I try to do what I can for the customers. I've even stayed 40 minutes after closing for a carry-out customer. I also try to remember, though, that my drivers and cooks also have lives, and most don't like staying late, so I try my best to get them out as soon as I can when their end time comes up. I've had a good streak as a manager of getting my closing driver done and out within 10 minutes of closing the store. That wasn't going to happen tonight since there was still one delivery left to make, but I wasn't going to add another one and keep my driver any longer than I had to. The customer then says,
then you're going to transfer me to someone that's going to deliver my pizza.
Ma'am, that won't be happening as no one will be delivering your pizza.
Yes, it will. Who else is there?
No one else is here, ma'am.
Really? There's no one else there?
My driver is currently gone on a delivery.
Well, when he gets back, he can bring me my pizza.
He will not be doing that, ma'am.
Oh, yes, he will.
No one will be delivering your food tonight, ma'am. Good night. It's now about 5 minutes after closing, and she starts calling again. I call my GM and tell her what happened and ask how many times does she have to call before I can just blacklist her number on the phones, which is what we do with prank callers and customers that harass the staff. My GM gives me the go-ahead to blacklist her and tells me to write her name and number down, so she has it if a complaint comes in and she can back me up. I do so and finish closing with no other difficulties. All in all, I was able to clock out and get my driver clocked out only 40 minutes after closing, so not too bad. The thing was, though, if she had just been nice and apologized for not answering instead of rude right off the bat, she probably could have talked me into sending out her pizza, but because she was rude and demanding, she got nothing. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Parables from the Pizza Oven, number 3. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. If you liked the video, then please do sprinkle some extra cheese and click the like button. Possibly leave a comment, and if you haven't subscribed already and would like to see more, then please do hit the subscribe button too. I also have a little shout out. I want to do a little birthday shout out for our friend of the channel, Anshu. They have many names that they're called Venny over on Discord. I'd just like to say happy birthday to you. Oh, say it. Who am I kidding? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Anshu. Happy birthday to you. Right, it is currently 9:15 as I'm recording this, on the day that it will actually be uploaded. I'm thinking of, when I get done, I'll have more than enough time to go out and do a little grocery shopping. I do need a few things. Plus, for the moment, the sun's out. Threats of rain later, but the sun's out for now. The weather's always an adventure in Scotland. So I'm thinking it might do me some good. My head's still kind of stuffy and achy. Not too bad, it's not like agony, it's just, oh, that's happening. I don't like that, but, well, there it is. After getting that shot, I'm just telling myself it just means it's doing its thing. It's working, it's doing its thing, it's helping to build up immunity. I think it's about 2 or 3 weeks or something after the shot, the person said to me. Don't quote me on that because I'm not a medical professional person. Shockingly, I'm not Dr. Hellfreezer. I'm not even a real Hellfreezer, to be honest with you. There it is, the truth's out. It's been a sham this whole time. The only freezing I do is in the form of ice cube trays. And even then I need a freezer to do that for me. So, anyway, with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.